Sahana Sahana Bhunaktu
Karvavahe
Tejasvinavadhinastu
Tamastu Ma
Vishavani Shanti
Shanti
Shanti Shanti. Shall we start?
Hello.
Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
I speak slowly and low, so you have to listen attentively and carefully. Then a word can be conceived.
Okay. Not an issue.
बोधोऽन्यसाधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनम् पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति.
बोधोन्य साधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनं पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति.
Yes, this is second verse of Atma Bodha. In first verse, we have studied the entire annihilation of sins through practice of austerities. And there are many types of austerities. At the level of the body, at the level of mind, at the level of intellect, at the level of senses. The seeker can do tapas with various levels. Sri Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj has given very beautiful concept of tapas. He says in his famous book Jnaneshwari, स्वरूपाच्या प्रसारा लागी प्राणेंद्रिय शरीरा आटणे करणे जे विरा तेची तप. स्वरूपाच्या प्रसारा लागी प्राणेंद्रिय शरीरा आटणे करणे तेची तप. प्राण, इंद्रिय, sharir. He says that Swarupacha prasara. Swarupa here, Swarupa means the ultimate truth. We can say it is reality.
One's own nature.
Yeah, its own true nature.
Yeah.
We can give any name. We can give a name as a Brahman, Atman, self,
Right.
consciousness, spirit, etc., etc. These are various names given by Shruti to the Atman to recognize that self. So it is the great benefit we have got due to Shruti. Dhaneshwar Maharaj says that Surupacha Prasara, the Surupa, that Atman or Brahman or self, pervades everywhere. The entire cosmos is pervaded by self-consciousness. It means the Brahman is more pervasive than this phenomenal world. In day-to-day common language, we can say that the supreme consciousness exists in all things and beings. Supreme consciousness exists in the world. But if you analyze this sentence very carefully, then we may came to know that this statement is wrong. Why? Because the consciousness is more pervasive and entire cosmos is limited. And supreme consciousness is wider than this entire world. So world exists in consciousness. For our easy understanding, we say that consciousness exists in this world. Because the earth, but water is more pervasive than earth. Then fire. Fire is more pervasive than earth and water. Then air. Air is more pervasive than fire, water, and earth. Then come space. Space is more pervasive than air, fire, water,
and
earth. Then the cause of these five elements is Prakriti.
Of course.
We can call it Maya, Prakriti, Pradhan. These are the various terms are used by various philosophers to identify that cause. So, the Prakriti or the Maya, the cosmic energy, can say that, is the more pervasive than five great elements. But the Brahman, Atman, is the more and more pervasive than Prakriti and its effects. So, entire world is the effect and Prakriti is the cause. The cause and effect both are limited. But supreme consciousness is the more pervasive. Then think very commonly that supreme consciousness exists in the world or entire cosmos exists in consciousness. Which statement is true? Commonly.
It is highly confused.
There is no need to confuse, but entire cosmos exists in consciousness. But we are unaware of that. So Dhaneshwar Maharaj says that Swarupakya Prasara, that Swarupa consciousness is existed everywhere. It is expansive. It is covered by entire cosmos, but we are not aware of that. You will become aware of that. You will become able to recognize that supreme consciousness because of there are so many flaws, so many limitations, and that flaws or limitations will go away by performing tapas. So you have to utilize our indriyas or pranas, pranindriya sharira. You have to use these bodies and indriyas and the pranas to attain that supreme consciousness. So utilize for the proper purpose, it is called tapas.
So
A simple word.
for the purification of antakaran.
For the purification of the mind, intellect.
Right.
In common, we can say that it is purification of the heart or antakarana. It is very simple. We can say that what your duty come in front of you, we have to perform that your duty as a worship of God. And you are the instrument in the hands of God. Whatever situation is presented in front of you, that situation also has given by God. Duty also has given by God. And the capacity and ability in you, that also given by God. And Bhagavan has permitted that. You have a right to perform the action. But the result of action, I will provide. Don't insist that I did this and I want this. No. Yes, Bhagavan said that you did. I know that. But result will not get by your, according to your wish. That authority is not given to you. This is my own authority. So, whatever your duties you do as the worship of God, that is the greatest tapas.
Without
The
expecting.
housewife does their work in the house for the entire family members. That is also great tapas for her. She has to perform all day-to-day activities as a tapas with great and positive attitude. Then she will satisfy, and also entire members of the family will get satisfaction. So each and every person does something in this day-to-day life that is their own tapas. So Bhagavan says that by this tapas, the result of tapas is to purify the mind. And then chanting of the name, meditation, worshipping of altars, these are also comes under the categories of the action. But it is a subtle action. It is a mental action. That is called upasana. By the performing selfless upasana, the person will get concentration of mind. By performing various duties, that duties are come under the tapas. And by that tapas, the impurities will go away. And concentration will come by the upasana. Okay. The impurities have gone, concentration has come, then you become able or eligible to listen the knowledge of the self. Understand? Okay. Then question may come in the mind of the seekers that I have a knowledge of physics, chemistry, biology, ethics, economics, and all the branches of the knowledge I have. Then what is the need to gain the knowledge of the self again? Okay. It means if you have a secular knowledge of the world, but that knowledge cannot remove the ignorance of the self. Suppose you are ignorance of you have ignorant about the mathematics. Then if you have a knowledge of the mathematics, that knowledge will remove the ignorance of the mathematics.
Obviously.
Suppose you have a ignorant about the computer. It means you are ignorant about the computers. But if you learn and get knowledge from the teacher about the computers, and that knowledge will remove the ignorance of the computer in the same way. That particular knowledge will remove that particular ignorance. But we have ignorant about my own true nature, the ignorance about the self. So I have to attain, I have to uh, get this types of knowledge by which the ignorance of the self will go away. So in the first stanza verse, Shankaracharya has given the very complete preparation of spiritual seeker. And then he starts the next verse with great idea of non-dual philosophy, Advait Tattvajnana. Listen very carefully. He says that Akasya Vanniva Jnanam. Let us start from the example. Known from unknown. This is the method of great teacher, the Shankaracharya Maharaj, is the very great philosophers and great teachers of India. He wants to impart this secret and spiritual knowledge to all types of students. Therefore, in each verse, he gives each example, simile, metaphor. Akasya Vannivat Jnanam. Vannivat, like a fire. Fire is necessary.
Give me that mobile quickly. Please continue.
Fire is necessary for cooking. If you want to cook any vegetable, for cooking, there are so many things are necessary. Vessel is needed, vegetables also needed, water also is useful, all the oils and the uh, chilies and everything are necessary. All the spices are needed for the cooking, but only by the vegetable, no one can prepare vegetable. Only by oil, no one can prepare vegetable. It means all these things are necessary, but they are not major things to prepare the food. All things are there, but fire is not there. No one can become success to prepare the food. All things are necessaries, but final cause for cooking is fire. So Shankaracharya says that just like that. What? What means just like that? When nivat, just like that fire. The fire is the ultimate or major cause for cooking. Pakasya vannivat jnanam. He has given very ancient example. Now we can say that heat is necessary for cooking. In ancient time, there was a chula, fireplace. And by that fireplace, we are become able to prepare the food. But nowadays, we can say that heat is necessary to prepare the food. Other things are supporting to prepare the food. Shankaracharya says that pakasya vannivat, for cooking, just as fire is necessary. Okay. Understand this example? By this example, Shankaracharya wants to teach us the philosophical concept of Advaita philosophy, Advaita Tattvajnana. He says that Anya sadhanebhyah, Anya sadhanebhyah, with compare of other spiritual practices, means other. Sadhanabhyah, sadhanas means spiritual practices. It means to compare with other spiritual practices. Bodha. Bodha means self-knowledge. He indeed, really, indeed, he means indeed. Bodha means knowledge of the self. Sakshat, sakshat, directly. Mokshaika sadhanam, ek sadhanam. The self-knowledge, indeed self-knowledge is the alone a means to liberation with compare of other means or other spiritual practices. How he said that? Pakasya vanyavadhyana. For cooking, many things are necessary, but major and important means is fire. So fire is the cause to prepare the food. So Shankaracharya says that knowledge is the cause for emancipation or liberation. Other sadhanas, do you think that they are not important? Yes, they are important. But ultimate or major cause is knowledge to attain the liberation.
It means to make a union of all the constituents of food for the union, heat is required. In the same way, it means for the union of all these subjective and objective matter, this knowledge is required, I think.
With compare with all these
Yeah.
knowledges.
Yeah. As compared to other knowledge.
So, with compare of all knowledge, branches of all knowledge, the self-knowledge is the cause for liberation. So, finally, again he gives the ultimate statement. Vina bodha, vina moksho na siddhati. Bodha vina. Without self-knowledge, emancipation is not possible. We cannot establish the liberation or emancipation without help of self-knowledge. So this is the uh, very important statement. If you understand the philosophy of Shankaracharya or a non-dualistic philosophy, this statement is very, very important. Self-knowledge is the cause for liberation, and without self-knowledge, liberation is not possible. Other means are necessary, subordinate, but final means is knowledge. Sadhya sadhan vivek. Self-knowledge is a sadhan, and sadhya, emancipation, is the goal. Suppose the temple is on the mountain and there are various steps to climb the mountain and reach in the sanctum in the temple. All the steps are necessary, but the last step where we put our leg and immediately we enter in the temple, we can say that last step is the final means to enter the temple. It does not mean that other steps are unnecessary, in vain, neglected. No,
we cannot.
other things are necessary, but knowledge is the final means to attain the liberation. Like a fire. Pakasya vanyavat jnanam. So, vina moksho na siddhyati. Vina means jnanam vina, bodham vina. Moksha na siddhyati. Without knowledge, moksha is impossible. Dhaneshwar Maharaj says that moksha deila jnana. Jnana moksha de. Knowledge of the self leads us to liberation.
Alone, alone.
Alone and alone. Moksha deila jnana. Eta kira nahi ana. Kira, really, there is no other thing. Really, indeed, verily, self-knowledge will give liberation. Moksha deila jnana. Jnana moksha deila. Eta kira nahi ana. There is no anyatha. There is no other statement related to this statement.
Jnanat
Knowledge,
evatu kaivalyam.
yeah, jnanat evatu kaivalyam. But Taneshwar Maharaj give the suggestion. I know that knowledge give liberation, but that knowledge, how can remain in that heart, in that mind? Parithare aise mano shuddha hoave. But purification and concentration of the mind are very, very necessary. And for that, we need other spiritual practices. Shankaracharya came into the conclusion, yes, knowledge is the final cause for liberation. But does not mean that he neglected, he refused other spiritual practices. All practices are necessary to purify the mind and concentration of the mind. Okay? बोधन्य साधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान् मोक्षैक साधनम पाकस्य वन्यवज्ञानम विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति. The remaining aspects of these slokas we'll see tomorrow while beginning the third verse. Okay?